Hi, I'm David, and this is probably the most asked for video to complete. In the middle of last year I did a video around blind spot detection system that I'd installed in the van. At the time I'd fitted part of it and I needed to connect up the indicators and the reversing connector because I wanted to try it out before fitting further. So today I'm going to finish off the job. The particular model I got, I'll put the information and link in the description, cost me $169.99, and the initial setup I put the two radar sensors in just behind the bumper at the back. At the moment I've just stuck the sensors on and that seems to have worked really well. So today I'm going to finish off the job. I'm going to connect the indicators, so we're going to have the left and right hand indicator and also the reverse signal. I've actually run some multi-core signal cable. I'm going to make a very simple electrical circuit up to protect the wiring. We're going to use two parts for that. We've used these before if you've followed for a while. We're going to use a diode on each of the feeds from the lights and a resistor. And the diode type I'm using is the 1N4001, but any of the 1N series or any kind of rectifier type diode would be suitable. These only cost a few pence. I'm also using some 1K 5% tolerance quarter of a watt resistors, as we'll use about 0.14 watts in a short circuit situation, so perfectly fine there. And the colour coding on the resistor, which you read it's that way along, is brown, black, red, which is 1K or 1000 ohms. So we're going to use those because that's about the right size. It'll allow about 12 milliamps, maybe a little bit more if the voltage is higher than 12, but not much more than 15 milliamps in any scenario, which is perfect, which means if there's any problem with the wires running from the lights, we do not risk damaging the onboard computer, which is expensive to replace, or creating errors or causing us an issue. It'll simply stop the blind spot detection system from working as it should. It isn't going to cause us an ongoing problem. And the reason for that is the diode only allows electricity to flow in one direction, because we don't want, if there was an issue with the cabling, a cable got caught, or something goes wrong with that unit, we don't want to send signals back that way. Again, it could damage the onboard computer, which could result in an extremely expensive job. Could also obviously invalidate your warranty as well. So I'm using these to protect it. A few pence on these components can save you thousands of pounds and a lot of hassle. We only want the signal. We're not actually wanting to do anything more than that. It's just so that the blind spot detection unit knows if we're indicating or knows if we're in reverse. So these are purely for protection purposes, and I felt it warranted spending a very small amount of money just for that peace of mind and protection. It's going to make them up, heat shrink them so they're nice, neat and tidy. That's why we've got the soldering iron out. We've got the heat shrink gun. We've got some different coloured wires. Size of the wire is not massively important because we only do a very small run from where it connects into the light wiring and then run through some multi-core alarm type cable from there, which takes it back to where the blind spot detection system is. I've mounted it under here, just tucked away. It was a handy location. You can obviously mount it anywhere. You could mount it much further towards the front because there was a significant amount of spare cable from the sensors, which have just coiled up and tucked away just so that it's out the way. Just makes it a little bit neater and then just keeps things out the way so it doesn't get pulled or damaged. Got some heat shrink just to finish the job off. One thing to note here, if we're plugging the soldering iron in to the socket on the van when it's on hookup, the earth of the van is connected to the negative of the battery via various points on the vehicle. So we need to be very careful that we're not soldering against a connection that's active, because we could damage something or break something by doing that. So it's worthwhile just making sure that that's completely disconnected. If you go and solder positive connection on the battery, you normally end up creating a short circuit through the soldering iron and creating a dangerous situation, and we don't want that. So let's get on with this. Let's build our little connectors and protection. We're going to basically solder it to the connections. We'll go through that as we go of which colour we're connecting to which. So we want left indicator, right indicator, and again I've pulled the cable across. For reference, if you are running the cable, you can just run it up and along here and down to the other side, so you don't need to run anything under the doors or whatever that could be a trip hazard, get in the way. Take this panelling off and take it round. Obviously depending on your van it might be more accessible. For reference, I also put some insulation in here while I was on, and it's made a heck of a difference in terms of keeping this back end of the van warm. I've also run CCTV and the cabling running through there, so it's very, very handy for running cabling along there. Do be careful though, there are sharp edges. Make sure you protect your cable, and also make sure you protect your hands when you're poking in there, otherwise you get all scratched up and cuts and things, and you don't want that. Right, on with the job. We've got the soldering iron plugged in. At the moment we don't need to worry too much about the earthing thing I mentioned earlier, so let's make a start on our first one. So let's grab some of this yellow wire. Just going to use these wire strippers just to strip a bit of the wire off. I've also put a bit of paper down just to stop when soldering so we don't burn the tabletop. So we'll just strip a bit there. Just going to cut about here. We only want a short length of wire, and then we'll just strip the other end. There we go. So I'm using about that long, about just under 10 centimetres of cable there. And then we'll take a diode. I'm just going to trim back a little bit the length of these legs because we don't need all that size. You can see there I've just trimmed it down a little bit. Now you'll notice on the diode it's got a white band at one end. This end is going to be the bit that connects into the light fitting, so feeding from the van lights. And we're actually going to connect the opposite end to the one with the band, so the one without the band, in that direction, because the power passes through in the direction of the band, the non-band side, to the band side of the diode. Let's get this bit soldered up, and then we'll do the resistor, and then we're going to put some heat shrink on and just connect the wire out the other side. Sometimes these helping hands on the soldering iron come in quite handy, because you can actually clamp your component, and it just helps to keep the heat down when you're soldering. I'll solder it up. Just make sure there's a good clean joint on there. We'll just let it cool slightly. Just going to tidy it up with the clippers here just to make sure we've got no loose ends or anything. Check it's a nice bright joint, which we're good for there. Get one of the resistors, and we're going to do the same. Just going to shorten the leads a little bit. What I'm going to do on this end, I'm just going to bend it over as well, just to make a little hook to connect the other wire to. And the same here, just a very little hook there. And we're going to do the same with the diode. Keeps everything together, so we're not just holding on the solder if anything gets pulled. And we'll just hook these two together, like so. And we'll just solder that up, and then we'll straighten it up once we get the bit of solder on. Check we're nicely covered there. Looking good. There we go. Don't think I'd ever win the world's best solderer, but it's not going to come off, which is the important bit. So now we're just going to put on the other ends then. We're just going to put a connector to follow on. So I'll go back and then just another tail on this end. You can of course connect this up without using the resistor and the diode. The reason I do it is for the small time and cost, it eradicates a lot of possible issues you could have in the future that when you're out on the road could cause you a problem. Not seeing anyone else do this either. Being from an electronic engineering background, it just makes sense because it just eradicates a potential problem with not much cost and effort. Solder that on now. Cracking. What we want to do now is just tidy up any bits that's sticking out, and there's a bit we can cut off here because it's just excess, so we'll do that. Careful when you're chopping because you end up with little bits and pieces all over. What we need to remember is which side's the input and which is the output, because if we put it backwards it simply won't work. This, I think we're just going to use some blue here. Let's pop that on there, And I'm also going to, just to make sure we're clear which is the input, I'm just going to pop just a bit of red heat shrink on here. Chop a bit there, because it'd be easy to forget which way around it is. Right, let's put the heat shrink gun on. Not bad. Just going to finish it off with a smaller bit on that end as well, a bit like we've got on the other. Actually going to use another bit of the red on that end as well. There we go, there's the first one done. Now going to make 2 more of these, and then that should keep us right. There's another one done, just need to heat shrink it now. So when you line it up, just make sure when it shrinks in, it's going to cover over the connections. There's that one done. So we've got the 3 of them there, which are now complete. I've done a yellow one, a blue one, and a green one. I'm going to use the yellow, green and blue then, so that's for the reverse left and right indicator. So here's our inline protection that we've just made, that hopefully stops us getting any issues with the onboard computer in the event of a fault developing either in the cabling, so if the cables touch together or short onto something, or indeed if there's a fault in the blind spot detection or anything else we connect it to. There we go. We're ready to connect up the cable now, and then we're going to connect these to the relevant points off the light circuit, feeding in through, always feeding in through where we've marked it with the red there. So this is the input, which is connecting from the lights back into the blind spot detection system through the blue end. Let's get on with that now. Colouring wise, to connect into the blind spot detection, I'm going to use yellow for the left hand side, and I'm going to use green for the right hand side, and then I'm going to use blue for reverse. Obviously you can use whatever colours you want as long as they connect to the corresponding inputs, especially for the blind spot detection, because it needs to know which side to act upon. So I'm just going to tidy this up before we move on to the next bit of the job. I'm going to use this to test it. It is just a cheap tester I got. If you pop the piece of paper on, you can also scoop up all your bits and pieces on it there, and then just pop it straight in the bin. Saves having to scrape them off the tabletop. So we're now going to take the cover off so we can get access to where the lights are, and then when we're in there we can start to pick the wires out, strip back the ones we want to attach to, and then connect our tails on there. A little bit of a look in there. So this is what we'll be connecting up to. So we've got the different colour wires. You can see where already we've connected in for the reverse sensors. So we're going to unpick that, disconnect that, so we can get in and have a look. To make absolutely certain it was the correct wire, I put the hazard lights on and then just checked against the blue and the black. So now we've soldered the reverse one, including the connection to the parking sensors. So we've got the green and the grey, which is the reverse, and the blue and the black, which is the right hand indicator. The blue and the black is connecting onto the green, and the green and the grey is connected onto the blue for the reverse signal. So now that we've done that, we're just going to heat shrink down these. I've popped insulating tape on both of those. Now I could have actually used the heat shrink if I'd cut the cable, but I didn't really want to cut the main cable. So I've just tapped into it and then soldered it and then popped some insulating tape over it. I've doubled it up, that's why it looks quite bulky there, just to make sure if it warms up it doesn't come off in the heat of the sun. So now that's done, and just fasten those back, tidy it up, and then plug the light connector back in. Should have actually probably tested it before putting the cover back on, but hopefully it should be okay. It's sometimes worth leaving it open, and then if there is a connection issue, but with us soldering them, I think we should be good. That's that all fastened back on. We're now over on the passenger side rear. I'm going to take this panel off, and that's so that we can connect up the left hand side indicator. We'll just take the screws out. I'm going to use our yellow one for this side. Take that off. Here's the cable that we connected in at the other side, so we're going to use that to connect in the connections from here, and I'm just going to unclip the connector into the light. There's the light connector. And we'll just strip this back. I'm going to chop the blue and the green off here because we use those at the other side, just so we don't get mixed up. So those gone. We'll chop that strengthening cord, keeps it tidy. And we're interested, so we can leave those ones. And we're actually going to strip this yellow one back because that's the one we're going to use. And we're looking for the blue and white this time, which is here. It's a bit of a tight squeeze in there. Just going to take some of this, I'm going to cut some of this back a little bit, just pull this out. Just separated out the blue and white. Now solder up, connect the two yellows together. I'll solder that. Before doing any electrical work on the vehicle, you should make sure you've disconnected both the Leisure and the vehicle battery, just to make sure nothing gets damaged. So we'll shrink that down. And then to finish off, we'll just pop some insulation on here, and then we can fit that back in and put the clip back on. Right, we'll now pop the connector back in, pop a bit of tape on there. Cable there's for another job. We'll cover off on another day. And then we just pop the cover back on and then we're done. There, that's back on now. We're ready to connect it up underneath. Just pop the cushions and things back, then we can get in at the other side. We've got the 3 input wires here. So the green one is the reverse trigger. The pink one is the left trigger, or the passenger side, and the orange one is the right trigger. So we're now going to connect those up to the multi-core cable that we connected at the other end, and we've got the blue, which is the reverse, so that's going to connect to the green reverse feed, and then we've got the yellow one, which is the left hand side, and the green one, which is the right hand side. To make it easier, I've just shortened the length of these cables, just that we haven't got so much we need to tuck in at the back. Let's do the reverse one first. So just pop some heat shrink over, and the green is the reverse trigger, but that wants to go to our blue. So we'll just twist that together. We'll solder it in a moment. So the next one, which is the pink, which is our left trigger, which is the passenger side. Pop some heat shrink on there. And that one wants to go to our yellow, pink to yellow. And then finally, we've got the green, which wants to connect to the orange, which is the right hand trigger. So again, we'll just pop the heat shrink on so that we're ready to do that. Twist the green together, and then let's solder those up, and then we can heat shrink them. And that's those done, so let's heat shrink those down now. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to tuck in here the actual label for each of these. I'm just going to pop a bit of tape on here as well, just to hold those wires back, and then it's very clear what we've got connected up. So we just fastened it on under there, and that's the installation complete. So that's the blind spot detection system finished off. It connects with 2 radar sensors at the back that connect to a couple of LED indicators at the front that show you whether there's a vehicle to the side of you in your blind spot. We've wired it into the left and the right indicator, and also the reversing sensor. So that's that job completed. Let's go and have a look at it in operation. As you can see, as the vehicle passes to the side of us, the light comes on to alert. If we put the indicator on, it'll start to flash just to warn us and also make a beeping noise. But without the indicator on, it just illuminates, as you can see here, as the vehicles are in your blind spot. There's also one on the passenger side.